is currently January 8th. It's a Wednesday. I'm in my bathroom. Hello. It's currently like 2. I'm getting ready for work, so I figured I would chit chat a little bit while we did that. Let's have a little sip of coffee first. Cute little mug. What can you say? What can you say? I feel like the past couple of years I've really been unpacking and unlearning a lot of things in my life. I feel like I reached a certain point where I was just over blaming everybody else for my problems, and like blaming my childhood or blaming what like experiences that I had or blaming other people. And I do sometimes think that it's a necessary part of the journey, but when you linger there a bit too long, it can become very like just sad, and there's no progress. Like you're just stuck in that way of thinking. And so I finally, had to be real with myself, and I had to address a lot of the things that I was feeling, a lot of the resentment or pain or shame or whatever. I had to face it. I could no longer just like put the burden on other people when, other like external things can obviously affect us negatively, and sometimes things happen to us that are out of our control, that don't have a greater purpose, and that literally don't have anything to do with who we are as people. Like things can happen to us that are fucked up and that don't have anything to do with us. And I think that, yes, it's important to place accountability where it belongs. I kind of was using it as an excuse to not show up for myself and to not be kind to myself. I was using how other people treated me as like an excuse to run away from dealing with things. So I finally had to be real with myself and just had to like unpack it all, face it all, no matter how uncomfortable or painful that it was. And part of that is letting things go, letting relationships go, letting habits, thought patterns, stories, whatever it may be. And I think that's an ongoing journey. Like, I don't think we'll ever fully be healed. I don't think that's like a destination point. I think it's just something I have to actively work on, and a lot of us have to actively work on. I was genuinely, not to be dramatic, but like I was not gonna make it very long if I continued to like be ruled by the past or by other people, honestly. And part of that reclamation and part of facing that dark stuff, part of letting go, part of losing a lot of things around you in turn of you healing. Like, that is one thing I've always heard people say. When you heal, when you grow, when you change, there are going to be people around you that don't like it, and that don't want to be a part of it, and that don't want to be around you because they benefited from the way that you used to be. I've always heard it, but I feel like I'm really experiencing it now. I think initially it was making me a bit sad, but I always just have to remind myself of like, I have myself, and so external validation or criticism doesn't really affect me. Once you are at that point where you've kind of, I don't want to say like you've lost everything, but everything around you has really just changed. Like, I think that it's a very interesting time because then you're kind of left with this freedom almost to explore and to conjure up ideas of who you want to be and how you want to be, how you want to show up in the world. especially like outside of the patriarchy or outside of the mold or the boxes that other people have tried to force us into. Once you're able to like think outside of that, it can be exciting, and it's kind of about perspective, because I guess, yeah, sometimes it can be a bit daunting, but I think ultimately it's an exciting time, because the possibilities are a bit endless, and I'm able to challenge myself, and I'm able to question a lot of my belief systems and a lot of my ways of being. And it's coming from a place of love and not trying to like grasp too tightly onto an idea of like who I'm supposed to be, but more so exploring different ways and exploring how different things make me feel. And I've spent so much of my life trying to be somebody else almost, that I've never really given people the opportunity to get to know me and to make their opinion up. And now that I am, like, I realize the people that I've surrounded myself with don't really align or like me, I guess. That's the simplest way to put it. I feel like there are a lot of people in my life that don't like who I am when I show up authentically. So it's been an interesting thing to navigate, to be honest. It's not anything that I'm like super pressed over. I find it interesting. And it's always learning how to navigate through, I guess, kind of like being disliked. I think especially as women, we are taught from a young age that we need to be polite and we need to be nice and we need to be like serving of others. I know for me, like, being extremely nice has not gotten me anywhere. It's actually gotten me some pretty shitty outcomes. I think that it's important to be kind. I think it's important to move with love and to not be malicious in your actions or your way of being. But I don't think that being a people pleaser and being nice or putting everybody above you is always the respectable thing to do. And I think that you can be kind and you can be respectful and you can be civil, but you don't need to overextend that. We do need more light in the world, and I don't think that looks the way that people kind of expect it to look. I'm just trying to explore what that means for me, like how to be a light in a way that's authentic. I feel like being queer also goes into a lot of why I think the way I do. Definitely learning how to be myself. I'm learning how to be myself and to be a-okay with people not liking it, which honestly, I am okay with it. Like, I really just genuinely don't care. It's harder when it's people that you are close with. Like, if it's a stranger, I like could literally not care. Genuinely. Life is interesting. Life. I don't know, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. I'm just like, I feel like I've made it past a big hump of getting, like, working through a lot of stuff and dealing with a lot of trauma, and then coming out on the other side ready to take full accountability for my life and how I choose to be moving forward. I just feel like the more that time goes on and the more that I show up authentically, the more that my old life kind of crumbles. It's honestly, like, it's not sad, it's just different. But it feels right. Like, I feel like I'm on the right path. I used to operate out of shame so much. Like, my whole life was based out of shame, I feel like. And now that I've gone past that, like, having boundaries and protecting my peace and, you know, kind of being a caregiver for myself has been so changing, because I feel like I'm actually coming at myself from a place of love and not a place of shame or judgment. There's character development going on in my life, which I'm really grateful for. Things are just different, and that's okay.